All right, friend. Yeah. That's wake-up music, and to let you know we are not a boring church. Yeah, so good morning. Welcome, everyone, this morning. It's so good to see you all. So good to see you all. And as we are all gathered here in communion, I want to remind you that downstairs is coffee and things after the service, and treats and just a time for more community and communion. So, is there anyone here for the first time today? Right here. Claire, up here. And might have to raise your hand again, but. So I just have a couple announcements for you. One is that in your bulletin it says Reverend Moore is speaking, and all of you will recognize that that is not Reverend Moore speaking, it is Reverend Don speaking. So, it was a last minute change, and so, well. Oh my, things get out of control. And on the back of your bulletin, there are some announcements, and you're to be saving up good stuff for the rummage sale. And Kathy Daniels, where is she? Right there. Do you want to stand up, Kathy? I think everyone here knows you maybe, but maybe not. And if you have something, this is the lady to talk to. And I know last time we had a sale, it's like I bought all sorts of pretty stuff. So, yeah. And I want to also remind you that we are a church. We are a center that focuses on prayer. It was the foundation of who we are. And on the back of your bulletin, there are the list of practitioners whom you may call, consult, and request prayers from. In the front of your pew, there should be a prayer request form. If not, there is one in the library. So if there is something that you would like this prayer team to pray on, there are the 4, soon to be 5 practitioners and 3 ministers. So powerful group to hold your intentions for you, and prayer does work. So please take advantage of that. And yes, and just to remind you that downstairs in the hallway, just past the bathrooms in the children's room, there's a practitioner's room, a prayer room. So if any of you would like to meet with a practitioner after the service, Ruth will be down there, and you're welcome to speak with her and request prayer, and she will pray with you. So that's really important. Really, it's one of the main things we're about in this community, in this teaching. And so now, today is Father's Day. Yeah. and we have some beautiful red carnations as a symbol and honor for fathers today, to honor fathers, grandfathers, and ancestral fathers who were beneficial presence and who have earned the right to be called father, because that is, and I say earn the right because I know for many people they didn't feel that, but for those who have, it's a powerful place to hold in the life of a family. And I just wanted to read a little blessing thought from the Daily Word today. It says, I am grateful for fathers, grandfathers, stepfathers, and all father figures who care for children and families. And I pray they are called always to follow their guidance and to act to express divine love. I envision their hearts and minds opening to receive blessings of strength, patience, and tenderness. So, fathers, all of you who are fathers, I would invite you just to, actually, you probably don't want to stand up, but to raise your hands perhaps and allow us to honor you. Yes. Mothers often get all the attention, and today we want to make sure that those fathers who were there for their families do get honored. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and they tell me in floral design, which I don't do actually, that odd numbers of flowers look the best. So you may feel free to have 3. So
We might,
yeah,
anyone who, on the way out, would love to have a flower to take home to celebrate Father's Day, or just to celebrate yourself and the role you've played in helping others, guiding, protecting, and loving and supporting anyone in life, particularly children, go ahead, take a flower, okay? They're here for you.
yeah, yeah. And my father was actually my grandfather, so our biological father is not always our father, but there are father presences for many of us anyway. So, all right. And we're going to sing on a clear day. And I have been checking the weather. And this is a prayer holding our intention. And so let's see if it comes true next week.
Yeah, the concept of a clear day when I'm looking and seeing as I should, not letting other things cloud my mind, that I can actually see the truth of who I am. And that's the most beautiful moment, when I'm clear and see that I am a child of God. This song means so much to me. I love singing this song. Today is your chance to be a little jazzy if you feel so inclined. Have a little fun with us. And you may stand if you wish, but you don't have to. So whatever way works for you works for me. On a clear day, right? Slow first, slow first. We're gonna do the first part slow. We got a mic? Have we got a mic? No? Maybe? Yes? Maybe? That's right, I don't really need one. As there it is. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star. You'll be part of every mountain, sea, and shore. You can hear from far and near a word you've never ever heard before. On a clear day, on a clear day, you can see forever and ever. Go, Brent. It's the part where you dance. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Go. We're gonna come back in on you'll feel part of every mountain. You feel part of every mountain, sea, and shore. You can hear from far and near a word you've never ever heard before. And on a clear day, on a clear day, you can see forever and ever and ever more. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, sorry, Reverend Don just said something to me and I cannot remember. There is a baby in the back of the room. Welcome, baby. Yes. Yeah. Yes. She's clapping. So, well, welcome. Welcome. We love the babies. So, now that our hearts are open, our energy's open, let us allow that open heart and open energy feel blessed by our invocation this morning. Cheryl.
Good morning. Ooh. Ooh. This is going to be fun. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for choosing church today instead of golf. That extra waffle. Thank you for choosing church. So happy to be here with you. If you would just join me in a few moments of prayer, turning within, feeling the stillness and joy in this room, the canine energy, the energy of children, the energy of all of us joining together in knowing there is one power, and it speaks and acts through each of us, here and now. I know that this service is unfolding beautifully with joy and fun and excitement and one-heartedness. I know that this service is blessed with the presence of each individual here and those who've chosen to join us from the miracle of the internet. It's all a miracle. This day is beautiful. And I join in blessing and rejoicing in the presence of fathers, whatever form that may take, those who mentor and guide, whoever they are, wherever they are, whatever plane of existence they may be on this time. And I know that as we move forward into this service, the words are inspiring us. Even before they're spoken, they lift our hearts. The music is perfect, and it raises our consciousness. Thank you. Thank you. I speak words of gratitude, knowing that we are here of one mind. We are here in this sanctuary together. And with this shower of blessings that has been brought to me and through me, I simply say, I release this blessing, knowing it is done as spoken, and through grace so much more than I can even imagine. And please join me in saying, and so it is. Oh. And we have an affirmation, and it's in your program. Join me in saying, I choose to love, serve, and remember. To remember that God is all there is, and all I am is God. And so it is.
Thank you, Cheryl. And so I'll invite Carol Huddle to share an inspirational reading with us this morning. Carol. I know, this is why we come to be inspired. To be inspired, to be loved, and to have our energy just raised by each other. This, the light.
Let there be light.
Now turn it on right there.
Oh, this? Official. All right. The title of our reading today is Self-Preservation and Aging. It says part 1. I don't know about part 2, but at least we're in part 1, right? It opens with a quote by Ram Dass. The ego ages, the soul evolves, and to the awareness, nothing happened. Ernest Holmes, in his What Religious Science Teaches, page 47, he says, the ultimate goal of life does not mean that we shall ever arrive at a spiritual destination where everything remains static and inactive. That which to our present understanding seems an ultimate goal will, when attained, be but the starting point for a new and further evolution. After teaching that is called the Four Primitive Fountains, explains that the common drives shared by all species are, and as humans we know them, their varying nuances as food, sleep, reproduction, and self-preservation. Most distinct of the four is self-preservation, which exists in both the physical and mental planes. In this physical plane, the hunter-gatherer protector instinct operates naturally, right? We're going to go out and get our food. Within the mental plane, something occurs. Self-preservation inflates beyond the concerns of physical safety to include egotistic pursuits of validation, material security, revenge, relevancy, and leveraging the fears of loss and loneliness. From all this mental activity, we create entire cultures and emotional attachments around whether we will be taken care of or remembered. Countless people in aging care facilities are attended by rotating shifts of personnel who wash and feed them, unaware that the one they are touching was a piano teacher who introduced the power of music to hundreds of students, a veteran who witnessed the atrocities of war, a grocery owner, a textile worker, an inventor, and so on, each contributing to society. Witnessing this at the cultural pole of self-preservation may prompt a fear around our own survival and aging. This fear of the future veils the creative power of the present moment, and the effect of that causal fear perpetuates a youth mythology that distracts us from fully embracing the inevitability of change. Still, every moment carries its own redemption. Distraction can dissolve into renewed focus. Conscious aging is always possible. The affirmation is, there is only now, and that's in caps, and all is well.
Thank you, Carol.
Are we good? Yeah? Nothing? I'm good. Some of you are going, thank God they took the mic away. I was born this way. My mom said I came out loud. I grew up with a really weird sense of the word father. I didn't really have good experiences in it, and so I thought, let it go. It's not a big thing. A lot of words in the dictionary I don't use, that's another one. And until I started to realize that there were people that were fathering me. And some of them, and some of them were women, and some of them were men. And my whole concept of fathering changed, just like my concept of mothering changed. I was able to open it up and look at the concepts and realize that they all came from God, aspects of God. So it was much easier for me. In fact, I remember when I made the full epiphany and went, the Father's Day suddenly became something doable for me and something understandable for me. And so when this song came out, I was like, wow, I get this song. This matters to me. This makes a difference. And I hope it matters to you. It's called Father's Eyes. I may not be every mother's dream for a little girl, and my face may not grace the mind of everyone in the world, but Father's eyes, the Father's eyes, Father's eyes. Oh, I want the Father's eyes, the Father's eyes, the Father's eyes. Oh, yeah, that's the one.
That brought a tear to my eyes. Thank you very much. That was so good. I think I got that. I know what that song means. Yeah. Salutations and greetings, everyone. Papa's Day, Father's Day, Baby's Day. Every time is baby's time. Yeah. You know, can you believe that this year is almost half completed? My gosh, here we are on June 3rd, the third Sunday, I should say, Father's Day. And I would be remiss if I did not say how I am so influenced in my life by my father. As I was growing up and raised as a country boy, a farmer's son, a rancher's son, and I realized that not everyone looks back upon their childhood with memories, rememberings, and memories that they feel like celebrating Father's Day. Many do, but there are some who do not, for good reason. But that can be as part of a spiritual explanation in some other Sunday message. We might like to follow up on that and do a message on that. I know Reverend Moore could do one very well. Reverend Julie, myself, we'll plan on that perhaps. But I want to follow a path of different sort today. You see, my father, I want to speak to that just a little bit more. I watched him as he navigated, sometimes with a great struggle, fulfilling his duties of providing for his family, taking care of his family. You see, he always was working for the other guy who owned the land, and he tilled the soil of the other person, and he tended the animals that belonged to the other person for wages only. And nothing about that has any dishonor, of course. He had an 8th grade education. He was growing up in Kansas, the son of a pretty well-to-do wheat farmer. At that time, you know, the wheat was being sold over into Europe, and wheat was a good commodity to be growing in those days. But when the stock market crashed in 1929, where his father the very month before had put everything into it on a tip, well, that took care of that, and that was right about the time the winds came up. And when the winds came up in that part of the world, it just picked up their farm and blew it away. And so they became refugees. His 3 brothers, his sister, his mother and father, refugees of climate change, climate destruction. And they had to migrate west into Colorado and eventually California to look for work. Farming and ranching jobs is what they knew, and trying to rebuild their lives as he was becoming an adult. He was just reaching his early 20s, fell in love, flat head over heels in love with a red-headed, beautiful girl, 18 years old. And then I became the first expression of new life and promise. The firstborn, yeah, and when you're firstborn, you're going to be wrapped in hopes and dreams of my mother and father that I would do something good in the world. And here I am, having the privilege in which I am so grateful to be a father and a father figure to encourage others who see me as father, as someone who unconditionally can support them in their needs and dreams to be a beneficial presence in the world and do something good. So our I hope that when I pass on, that what might be left in their hearts would be the loving kindness of their rememberings and their relationships with me. So our topic today is titled all about that remembering. The body remembers. That's a great topic, really, because how true, boy, how true the remembering and those memories. And the body remembers. And in its remembering, it plays a valuable part in influencing the quality of our living. We live from the past forward. And I think it's interesting to me how our quality of life is so impacted by the memories that we hold. The remembering of early and past experiences. How tightly we hold on. Don't want to let go. And how easily sometimes we just let it be. Those rememberings of people, places, and things and happenings of our past, we're coming into facts now. We don't call this theory. We call this facts that we're learning more and more as we navigate all of our life happenings, that our body literally keeps score. Every thought, every developed mental atmosphere and attitude, and every trauma we experience, as well as all the good stuff. Our body keeps score. Our body is like a community, I think, a system that's influenced by all the life activities that it participates in, that it is within all these experiences it goes through, as it exposed to so many things that we can be exposed to as we go through a life. And it's calling on us to observe and then immerse ourselves, not just be observers only. Our lives are part of other lives, which by degrees are joined as community. And so it is that this day not only holds the recognition of the great body of masculine participants and the masculine representation of that energy that fills those duties of fatherhood, we call it Father's Day, make those, I call them, invaluable contributions to the family wholeness. But this is also a day that addresses a great march forward in the family of a collective human family, a body of peoples whose centuries-old experiences included the enslavement and the control of their bodies by other humans, other human beings, and the emancipation experienced from body enslavement to sovereign ownership of their own, of human dignity and freedom to be. And you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Juneteenth. Yeah. Now, we don't have time allotted today to go into this. It deserves more discussion, in my opinion. It's worthy of our own exploration and examination if we do choose to go into it, go further into it sometime. And we have and we will more. But get back to this title that we want to talk about today, The Body Remembers. The body remembers. I mean, I just love that. It's claimed by those who do study these mind-body connections. It's claimed that the unprocessed, that's a good word, the unprocessed, unhealed emotions can hide in our bodies. And over time, they can cause problems ranging from like a headache, a tummy upset, and fatigue to some more serious conditions, medical conditions. And if we recognize this to be true, and if we find ourselves in distress, or disagreement with our greater community of living experiences, and if we cannot do and we do not recognize and attend to the distresses and the traumas, pay attention, give them some voice. If we try to bypass, that's a good word too, and just tuck it away and not give the distress of the moment its voice. If we think we can just mentally cease or erase or just leapfrog over distresses and ignore the trauma, just bypass it all and go on, push forward and think about it, don't think about it at all, as I believe I know I have done, oh my God. And we've probably all done that more than once in our life, I think, without going into any details. But you know, I can share with you, I think I call it one down-home good advice I got from my father. He told me, if you don't face up to the music, if you've done something wrong especially, sure as God made little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis, that was one of his songs he liked, in the summertime, it'll eventually come back and it'll bite you in the behind. He used more colorful language, you can imagine, yes. Now, in some past messages, I may have told you stories about my high school girlfriend. I think you might have heard a couple. But I don't think I've ever shared any story about any willingness to commit a crime just to be with her. Have I told you anything about that, ever? No. And I don't think I remember talking to you about my James Dean dream car. James Dean. Does anybody know who James Dean is even? Oh, hallelujah. I had a 51 Mercury, maroon. Well, neither my car or my girlfriend are responsible for any crimes on my behalf, I want you to know. But most of you know my girlfriend still lives with me. She's finally decided that I've become part of a long-term contract. I call it, what I have is marital job security. Yeah. However, something I did out of just impulsive thinking, or maybe not thinking, in my teenage years. We were about 16 when we met, so teenage years I'm talking about. But one of the few times I listened to my father's advice might have saved me some behind bites. And I'll tell you about that. I was 17 years of age, and I had my own car. 51 Mercury, maroon. I bought it with my own earnings from working on a large farm in West Salem that's now called Salem Town, and I've told you this story before. It used to be called Oak Crest Farms, and it's now this huge complex of houses, and it's called Salem Town. But at that time we lived there. It was a large farm with orchards and fields, and where a community of houses are now. And my father was the foreman, and he was the farm manager, is what he actually was called. And I worked there all the summers and on weekends when I could, earning my spending money. You know, I had a girlfriend, had to go to movies, things like that. But even then, I seemed to always be broke. I always need more money I don't know where I spent it, but I had a girlfriend. So, now the farm was a big farm, and it had lots of machinery, and it had this large building. It had a tank in it, had a lock and a key on the door to get into the building, and it held gasoline for all the different machinery to use in its operations. And I was given the key through the summer months that I worked, and I was told I could be the steward, was the word they gave it, of all the machinery. See that they were all daily fueled and ready to go for the next day's work, all the tractors and etc. Now, I want to tell you, you know where West Salem is, most of you. Yeah, you know, cross the bridge, go another 3 miles further, and that's where we lived. And the distance to my girlfriend's house was way out in South Salem on Liberty Road, way, way out. And that was no little distance. And my car was a 51 Mercury. I know I told you about that car. V8 motor. It liked gasoline, and I like to put my foot in the carburetor. I mean it. I like to push the speed limit every once in a while, and I love to hear those twin pipes chortle. You know, twin dual exhaust on a flathead V8. If you're a guy, you can kind of feel that with me, of any age of it. Well, gas was the car's constant need, and money was my constant need. So one Saturday night, I had set a date with my girlfriend to go to the movies. And we always had milkshakes and hamburgers later. So it took well, I had the exact cash to do that. I had that all figured out. But my gas gauge was empty. My gas gauge was on empty. I knew I'd not make it out to her house and back and then get her home before midnight. So you can guess what happened. I rolled down the hill from our house. Our house kind of set up on a knoll, and the garages and all the machinery was down below, and this house, this place where the gas tank was down there. The fuel shed, we called it. And I had the gas key. And I was soon on my way to my girlfriend's house with my Mercury V8 humming with a full tank of gas. And the date was pretty good. We had hamburgers, but my stomach began to bother me a little bit. You see, I have a stomach that knows things. Yeah. And this was summertime, and I was expected to be up on the job early in the morning the next day and get things ready. And I couldn't eat breakfast. My stomach was too upset. My stomach was giving me those, I don't know what it was called, but it was problems. And by noon, I had to tell my dad I had to go back home. I couldn't take it the rest of the day. So this went on for about a week. And at the end of the week, the owner of the farm stopped by to check up on things, as he always did. And my dad and I were outside of the equipment sheds and talking, and he drove up close to the gas shed, and he parked, and he asked me to fill up his big black Hudson. Do you know what a Hudson car is? My gosh, they were beautiful cars in those days. Big, black, and shiny, leather interior. Asked me to fill up the gas tank. Donnie, you got the key. I said, yes, sir, I do. I do it right. I'll do it right away. Well, as he was filling up the gas tank, getting back to my father, and I'm going to be talking about the body and this type of thing in a minute, I heard him, I got to take a drink here. Okay, talking to my dad. Here's what he said, because I can remember the gist of this. He says, you're raising a pretty good young man there, Ralph. And I felt my stomach twick a little. Must be a good feeling knowing you got a son you can count on. And my stomach really began to hurt. So one of the workers came over to ask my dad to help on getting a tractor hooked up to a piece of machinery. And the owner saw me finishing up, so he stepped back to the car. And he thanked me for filling up the gas tank. And suddenly my father's advice popped into my brain about facing the music and not having it bite you in the behind later. And I just blurted out, oh, Mr. Rangel, I want to tell you something before you leave. Sure, he said. And so he rolled down his window. He says, what was that, Don? He started to light a cigarette and then suddenly put it out. He said, whoops. I remember talking about, don't want this gas tank, anything happened to the gas tank in here, do we, Don? No, we wouldn't. I almost got cold feet, but I didn't. I just told him about the Saturday night date I had and needed gas and what I did and did without telling my dad. And I'd just like it if he would not pay me this week's wages and just tell the bookkeepers, keep my check. I don't need my check. I was very sorry I helped myself to the tank and I didn't check with my dad. And I would never do it again. I would never, ever think of doing that again. I paused to catch my breath. And he looked down at he was rolling a cigarette between his fingers while he was listening. He looked down at his cigarette, and I remember the exact words that he said here. He said, you don't smoke, do you, Don? I shook my head, no. Well, my advice to you is never start. I probably put more money in those things than you'd put in your gas tank. You say you won't be doing that again? Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. I think I know what you mean, Don. He kept using my name, Don. You know, my dad would call me Donnie sometimes, but he said Don. Here's a plan. He says, how about we just have the bookkeeper deduct $5 from the gas, for the gas, and just call it even. Now, don't bother to tell your dad. Don't bother him with this. Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I remember calling him sir half a dozen times as he was driving backing out. Right immediately, I was flooded with relief. And he smiled at me as he rolled down his window on the other side, leaned across to the passenger side before he left. He said, and Don, don't lose the key. I tell you, that was the biggest relief within 10 seconds, my body remembered that my committee of the stomach was a meeting, and it felt like it was all settled, all the disagreements, and I was hungry for lunchtime. It was time to go have some real food. And as I remember that our topic, Body Remembers, it's interesting and vital that we understand that our bodies are so intricately connected, and they're responsive to our minds, and the other way around. And the intelligence you see in the physical body we're told, is a subconscious intelligence. And we know the subconscious part of our mind, you see, is a storehouse of thoughts. But in the body, it's a storehouse for our feelings. And that's why I never forget the thing I've read before about the body never lies. That's why my stomach tells me things. The body, for me, it's my stomach. Other people could be a headache, I don't know. But we sometimes misinterpret the pain. We sometimes misinterpret the pleasures and the traumas. But it's always true to our current and our past feelings. Current and past. Now, it seems like I can remember a statement which claims that we may forget what others have done to us in a misdeed or mistake. Let it go. We may even forgive, a betrayal. Yeah, an emotional injury someone made upon us. But you know what? We nearly always never forget how they made us feel. So our bodies quite literally keep score of the feeling. Every feeling we've ever woven from every thought, mental attitude, every trauma, every experience. And I just never really zeroed in on that until we began to study some of that. And that's true going the other way. Now, if and when we should commit a wrongdoing, such as, my 17-year-old brain simply following my emotions and passionate feelings as I filled up my gas tank without even thinking of how my values that I knew what was right and wrong, planted deep in myself, how that might influence my body sense and might be a major cause someday for my stomach nerves to be upset until I face the music. And in making my confession about my deed to the owner and that gasoline tank on his property and experiencing, his allowing my deed to be neutralized, recognized, and by doing so, who knows? If that deed and that emotion surrounding it had remained unprocessed, that good word, unprocessed, if it was left to hide in my body for years, like I know I have had a couple of these still around, what could have resulted in it? Could it have resulted in a more serious sickness? Could it be like ulcers? Who knows? Could it be cancer? Who knows? But you know what? The body knows. The body knows. When I read somewhere that the mind-body connection, how pain and trauma or any other disturbance that carries emotional energy transfer, how it transfers from the mind into the feelings and into the body, and specific negative feelings start to grow, how that does, like guilt, for an example, that's a specific negative feeling, guilt for a misdeed, or anger, or fear, oh, Lordy, or disappointment, strong disappointment. Have we not heard about the shooting where the man's wife as a teacher was shot and killed, and he died of what the doctors actually said, heartache. So if we allow it to be released and healed in the light of understanding, that's the thing that the reading tells us that, and taking responsibility for actions, like my confession to the owner, or forgiveness to others, just forgiving their actions, the wonderful realizations that we can implement in our dealing with all of life's stuff is just this one thing here, this knowingness that we have these wonderfully creative minds, and then we have these wonderfully responsive bodies that respond to our thoughts and our spoken word. And a good spoken word would be affirmative prayer, wouldn't it? as many of us have proven and experienced. And we also have these, turn it around, these wonderfully creative bodies and these responsive minds that we develop by training ourselves to pay attention to our bodies. And I don't mean to obsess whether I'm beautiful or not, or whether I should grow hair or shouldn't. We can use our wonderful creative minds to probe and explore our feelings and recognize how and where we can use the power of what we preach here about affirmations and prayer and meditations. And it's like a reciprocal dance. That's what I remember reading. I wrote it down here. I like it. In this reciprocal dance that leads to healing with one another, the mind and the body, we can often focus on how the body is responding to everything we do with our minds, including when we suppress emotions, tuck away a trauma. Most of us have realized, how about this? We have these beneficial exercises such as walking, just walking, and yoga to help in interrupting the cycles of depression or trauma, as well as how simply coming to an uplifting Sunday service like you are here right now, music and message and prayer that can shift the mood, take you out and flood our feelings and our bodies with good stuff, good energy, good calming, energizing. And also, if we place our bodies at rest, just purposely, as we were doing this morning and earlier this day in meditation, take a meditative moment, or simply repeat mantras every day or affirmations. I know some of you do this, do you not? Going about your day, I do this all the time. The light of God surrounds me. The light of God opens the doors for me. The love of God holds me and enfolds me. Just talking to yourself. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? If God is all there is, who are you talking to? You know who you're talking to. Now, I got to start closing this morning. I realize my privilege this morning is not to explain to you how you're supposed to live, or what direction your life should be taking, or how or what you should feel, or even think or do. But I can offer my own truth as I know it, and I can quote for us from parts of pieces of other reliable, I like to say they're reliable because they really work for me. Sometimes these ancient truths that have been around and work for lots of you to frame and rebuild and reconstruct and continue our human journey on this amazingly graced and infinitely splendid love of the divine source that we have for all of us. Mark Nepo has a book. He's 7,000 Ways to Listen. Yeah, he wrote these words. Listen to these words. The task of being fully alive challenges us to stay in the center while feeling the full range of life on earth. Whoa. Pardon me. Everything, not just one thing. Now, I wish to promise you something. I'm going to make this promise to you. If you will feel and honor every feeling in your body, I mean every feeling, you will come to learn and know how magnificent and wonderful your existence is, graced with the ability to just let go and let God guide you from all fear to solid faith, yeah, in who you are and why you're here. That's the only task you have as far as the divine is concerned. And that, all that you decide to do it's enough. It's perfectly, completely enough. So in closing, I would like to ask Reverend Julie maybe if she would share with me a reading about letting go, a poem written by Sapphire Rose. Now, you know who Sapphire Rose is? Is that a great name? I don't know who she was until I read this. Sapphire Rose wrote this title. What's it called? She Let Go, I think it is.
She let go.
She let go. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to see if I can help Reverend Julie in her task in doing this, her privilege in doing this, by using my guitar. See how this works. I need to be able to read this also, Julie. So give me a moment to grab it. And let's see how this works. So this is, gotta have something to put my foot on. There we go. Peekaboo. Okay. So we just start right out. She let go without a thought or a word. She just let go.
She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around in her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons.
Wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry, she just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go.
And she let go of all the memories that held her back. And she let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of all the planning and all the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her daytimer. And she made no public announcements and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go.
She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go.
And no one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle.
It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was just what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she just let it be, let it all be. A small smile came across her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. 'Cause she let go. And on that, we say thank you for being here and sharing these moments with us. And we say namaste.
Namaste. Ah, Darcy. Yeah.
Let me banks of the river of love, where the current runs deep, baptized in one, where there's no separation, and the light is all we see. Honoring our differences, yes, love will set us free. Oh, Father, Mother, God, there's a healing going on. Father, Mother, God, there's a healing going on. Father, Mother, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, rock my soul. I said, oh, rock my soul. I see the blessings in the past. It's time to requalify. Let's not forget, but learn to forgive. God knows we've got to try. It's my responsibility to heal the wounds in me. Compassion, faith, hope, and love, truth will set us free. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Sing it with me. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, rock my soul. Say it again. Oh, rock my soul. I said, oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, I know there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, rock my soul. Oh, 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 rock my soul. Oh, 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 rock my soul. Oh, rock my soul.
What a day. Guys, is this not the best? Wow. What a fantastic talk. What a fantastic talk. And Darcy, thank you.
Yes, Darcy.
Isn't she great? Isn't he great? I just feel so blessed. And so when we come to this offertory, all I can feel is gratitude. And perhaps that's what the offertory time is in the service, to just be grateful for all that we have received, for this wonderful message. And it actually made me think, would I have told the guy about the gas? So that's something to take home with us.
How many boyfriends you got?
There you go.
Yeah, okay. So, in this moment of gratitude, I invite all of us in this time of offering as we share from our wealth, and we are all wealthy. We are all wealthy. Just being here today and sharing with one another, and having a community, and to being able to be inspired and uplifting, and to have this beautiful, inspiring music and things. So we are all so blessed. We are all so overflowing. And so as we share our offering this morning, I just invite you to gift in gratitude. And let's say the offertory blessing together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate.
Words to our offertory song are in our program. I think we're letting you know. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
All right. What a beautiful, inspiring, and joyful service we've had this morning. It just moves my heart to realize how grateful I am for Reverend John, Reverend June, all of our helpers, Michelle and Catherine, and everyone here. And in sharing this gratitude, you have expressed your goodness, your desire to be part of this community and help this community to really grow in its expression of spirit, in its expression of life, in its expression of the joy and wonder that exists in the very core and essence of each one of us and of this whole community. So let us join together in giving thanks from the bottom of our hearts to the top of our souls and in every dimension as we say together, and so it is.
Wonderfully. And let us just stand together and say our prayer of protection. And as we sing our peace song, just know that peace is possible. No, we're doing it right now.
We're doing the prayer of
We're
protection.
going to stand. We're going to stand to do that because it is a very holy, holy prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over